Hello everyone. Today is day 2 of 7-day landscape practice challenge, and today's prompt is snowy landscape focusing on how to create flawless variegated wash. So these are the two paintings that I have created for practice. So we are going to paint one of this painting in this tutorial, and I will show you step by step process creating a flawless smooth transition for variegated wash without any harsh line, backgrounds or blooms. This is the supply list for this tutorial. So water control is one of the crucial part of painting variegated wash using wet in wet technique, and I'm going to use these artified brushes. They are made of natural squirrel hair, and these are like mop brush and they hold water very well, and these are just perfect brushes for any wet in wet technique. So now I am swatching out all the paints that I am going to use in this video. So first is Naples yellow. If you don't have that color, you can use very diluted yellow ochre. The next color is cobalt blue, and then we have Payne's gray and sepia. Before starting the painting, I am going to create a nice bluish gray color for the sky by mixing cobalt blue and Payne's gray. And I'm just figuring out the exact shade that I want here. So these are the all colors that we are going to use today for painting. So now I'm applying masking tape just to divide my paper in half. If you are not using a block, you should tape down your paper to the board using this painter's tape. Now I am marking the horizon line to start the painting. I am leaving top 2/3 part for the sky, and then we are going to paint snowy foreground in the 1/3 part here. Now using this mop brush, I am applying water just above the horizon line to paint the sky. Now carefully apply generous amount of water on the paper and make sure you don't forget to apply water on the corners. Corners of the paper are the area where paper starts getting dry out first, so make sure you apply more water on the corners, and if you see any puddle on the paper, just drag the water on the side of the paper. So this is what we are looking for when we apply water on the paper for wet in wet technique, just the clear sheen without any puddles or dry areas. Now pick up some Naples yellow or yellow ochre, whatever you are using, and start applying this paint just above the horizon line. As you can see, I am not using the darkest value of the paint. I am just using the mid value, and keep applying this paint till the half of the sky part. So key point here to remember is to pick up the light color first. Whatever the colors you choose to paint for the variegated wash, use the light color first so you won't contaminate your brush with the darker paint. So now I am mixing cobalt blue and Payne's gray to complete this variegated wash, and then our sky will be ready. Now start applying this bluish gray paint just from the top till the half part of the sky. Just keep dragging this paint till the half part of the sky, and don't go back in to just correct or mix this layer. So to mix this two layer, I am not going to use my brush. I am just holding my paper at 90°. Let the gravity work. And again, I am moving my paper downward to mix both the layers seamlessly. I think the transition looks perfect, but if you are still want to blend both the layers, don't use any wet brush, just clean your brush, and with the clean damp brush just move like zigzag horizontal movement in between the two layer and you will get the perfect blended colors. And keep your hand very light while doing this so you won't make any harsh line in between the layers. Now we are making the tree lines using sepia while the sky is still wet. Before painting this tree line, put something below your paper to tilt your paper towards the sky and start painting this tree line using sepia. Keep adding this sepia just above and across the horizon line, making some tree lines. Keep making this tree line of varying height and size, and the sky part is still wet so you don't have to put so much effort to create such a defined tree lines here. So I'm painting a little bit bigger tree over here, and I'm not following any particular shape of the tree. I'm just dropping in some color with the tip of the brush. As the background is still wet, it does it things by its own. So with this smaller size round brush, I'm picking up some thick sepia paint and I'm dropping this darkest value of the sepia just above the horizon line in at the tree line to create some depth and shadow effect. Remember not to cover the entire tree line with this darker shade. Just drop this paint here and there along the tree line. So now our sky is ready with the tree line, and now we will wait for some time for this to dry and we will start creating the snowy foreground. So this part of the painting is completely dry. Now start painting the snowy foreground. Now I am applying a clean water just over the foreground part, and then we will create some shadow effect on the snow and leave most of the part of this foreground white without adding any color there. So using this smaller size round brush, I am going to paint shadow over the lines that I have marked in the snowy foreground. So I am going to use the same mix of cobalt blue and Payne's gray that we have used for painting the sky, but I am using a little bit darker value for the shadow part. So now using my tip of the brush, I am dropping in that shadow color in the snowy foreground, and I'm just using random zigzag movement and doing some broken lines to create this effect. So the idea here is to use whiteness of the paper to create snowy effect on the paper, but we are adding shadow to convey that fluffiness and thickness of the snowy foreground. Keep creating shadow effect using the same mix along the snowy foreground. Adding some darker values of the same shadow color to create some more interest. So now I am using this Artify Art Supply detailed brushes to create some dry grass and twigs over the snowy foreground. So this water brush that I have selected to create little twigs and dry grass over the snowy foreground, pick up some sepia and start painting these little twigs here and there, adding and creating twigs and dry grasses here and there with this tiny brush. Now continuing the same process of adding this dry grass and twigs over this part. Now using the same brush and sepia, I am also adding trunk and tree branches over these tree lines. Just use the dark thick sepia paint to create these branches and tree trunk. So our painting is ready, but I will still wait for some time because I feel the foreground is still wet to remove this tape. I know removing this tape is the most satisfactory part of this painting process and everyone loves it. So our painting is ready and we learn about variegated wash in this tutorial and how to create perfect flawless variegated wash without having any harsh line, backgrounds or blooms. So the purpose of this variegated wash tutorial is to know how to control water in your brush and on your paper to create the perfect blended colors and smooth transition in your washes to create sky, water or any elements in your landscape painting. So to practice this variegated wash, I have created another painting with different color palette, and you can also practice this variegated wash using different color palette and just experiment with your paper, with your brushes, and see the amount of water your brush can take and how much amount of water you should apply on paper and just see how you can achieve this smooth transition in your wash. Also the brushes are one of the crucial part of this wet in wet technique, whether you are doing a variegated wash or flat wash. If your brush is smooth and it can take up good amount of water, then you will have better result. So try this tutorial and let me know if you have any question, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.